So we put the recording on this morning just for a short while. Good morning, everyone. If anybody likes to listen to these, it would be very nice if you do. Um, Last Saturday, we had the joy of an amazing meeting in Alberton here in Johannesburg, although Rob and I are not in Johannesburg at the moment. We are in Doha with our children and met our new beautiful granddaughter. So I'm looking to the side quite a bit, if you don't mind, because I'm reading my notes, because if any of these meetings that we go to are scintillating and delightful, I take notes. And we had the pleasure of our amazing product manager, sales manager, I don't know, long title for Southern Africa and East Africa, Drew McDermott. And the talk he gave was on a theme I've heard many times over the years at near life meetings. And he went through what we call the 3 Ps. They are the first one, purpose. And well, before I go into the 3 Ps, just to put the bit of the background there, it was a bit of a wake-up call for me that when we are introducing this business to other people, we must always be aware that they have dreams that they want to fulfill and to focus in on how we help them to achieve their dreams. And to see that the Near Life, through the products and then the business, it's an amazing gift we are offering people. And that means that we have to be out there and do the network. And I just thought that the whole thing of the dream for the person who we are speaking to is so important that we really, really need to remember to focus in on it. So he had just come from the Ruby Orientation conference, which they have in Johannesburg, and he spoke about a 23-year-old from East Africa, from West Africa, 23, I repeat, and he was there with his mother, Ruby, and staying in the 5-star hotel in Sandton. And this young man, who had no hopes of ever achieving much in life, has now gone all the way to Ruby and is staying in a 5-star hotel, 23-year-old. And apparently we should be waking up to the fact of what young people are looking for. They want to travel. They want to see new places. So maybe when you are talking to a young person next, ask them what they want. It may be very different to something that we want at the age that we are, or stage that Rob and I are at, for example. But boy, do I want to travel. That's what I'm wanting at this age and stage. So it's maybe a universal thing for all of us to keep saying to people, what would you like to achieve as a side hustle? Because most of us do this as a part-time thing. So back to the 3 Ps. The first one is you must have a purpose when you are doing the business. And, or in other words, what can also be described as a goal. And we were told, as usual, you tonight go home, write your goal and write a date on it. And I don't know why that is so hard to do, but for many of us, it's almost impossible to do. So it must be enough, whatever the goal is, it has to be motivating enough to get you out of bed in the morning to make the phone call you don't want to make. He said then, as part of this whole thing, whatever your reason is, success doesn't care how you feel. In other words, he was saying we let our emotions get in the way. And so your goal must be strong. You will fail many times, and every time you will get up stronger. And I'm very proud of us as a group for that. We get up stronger all the time. Can you get over disappointment? Is your goal exciting enough so that when you talk about the future, you must be excited? You've got to make people healthier, but must be bigger goals and health. So health is one of the things that will come automatically. but to get the person to think about what is their goal and to get it bigger and bigger and bigger, to give them the incentive, the motivation, and the purpose to go out and do it. The second P, does anybody want to say anything? Meryl, Mary, any comments about purpose? So
No, nothing to add.
Review our own reasons and goals. Product. Well, all of us here are convinced, okay? You have to be a great product user. Then you become successful. I'll repeat it. You have to be a great product user, and then you'll become successful. It's that simple. And I don't know why people are so slow at getting into the products. But I know for myself that when Rory said to me, you know, if you're not using those cleaning products, you can forget it. So, oh, well, I'll give them a try. Wasn't terribly enthusiastic about them. Well, the first thing I was looking for when I arrived here yesterday was where was the care in the house. And one of the children poked the other child somewhere in a hand or something, and there was blood all over the place. Get the care out, you know. Anyway, you can't be successful unless you use the products. So he asked, if I walked past your bathroom, would I see Super 10 LDC and care? What would I see? Okay. If I walked past your table, what would I see? What would you have? What would you have? If I walked into your kitchen, would you have some vitamin C, vitamin B, zinc? Would you have them? In other words, if I came into your home, can I see the products everywhere? And from that, if you're not producing PV, he said it straight, you are in trouble. If you're not producing points, you are in trouble. And the best way to start getting the products moving is to change your buying habits and to use the products in your own home. And from that will come your product stories. And out of that comes PV. Lots of P's in today's presentation. And then number 3 is people. Third P, people. We are unlocking that challenge. So you have 2 things to do. You either have to speak to people about the product or the opportunity. Be aware about who you are talking to. So he said very clearly. So for example, if I were talking to a parent with a child with any sort of problem, I'm not going to start telling them about how they can earn enough money to go on a cruise in the Caribbean or the Mediterranean or whatever the dream is. I would be then talking to them about the product. So we all know that we must be very careful to discern who we are talking to. So at this point, Drew went into drawing the circles. And if you talk to a new person, you must be able to share a story. But the way the circles are concerned, he just drew the main circle in the middle, and then your legs coming out and indicating how you would go from 100 points, and then did a very nice thing on the compounding of the points, which I will share with you in a minute. Unfortunately, I don't have the PowerPoints available. Although he didn't use PowerPoints, he just drew it on a board. And the most famous distributor in the whole business, Jerry Brasfield, got Mexico going by drawing the circles in the sand. As long as you can learn how to draw the circles. I can't emphasize that enough. You've got to practice PPP, practice drawing the circles. Right. So if you talk to a new person, you must share your story. And I didn't put this up as a direct thing for today, but if Meryl, if you've got a pen, but don't worry, this is being recorded. So you can come back and just listen to this because this is very, very important. There are 4 stages for your 30-second story. Shouldn't be longer than 30 seconds to a minute, your story. That's a challenge for Monica. So, number 1 would be your struggle. What did you go through? Number 2, your solution. Number 3, your success. And number 4, your excitement. I'll repeat them. Number 1 is your struggle, which would be your goal. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me repeat it. Would be first of your struggle. Then would be, so where were you? At what point? Rob and I were using products, but interest rates were running at 28% when we joined this business. We really, really needed some extra finance coming in to our household. And more than anything, we needed a change of mindset. And that became so then we have the solution would be our goal was to make some extra money. And the solution we had found it was going to come through Neolife. And then we finally, after quite a long struggle, but very soon, once we started selling products, found ourselves with a little bit of profit coming in. And then when the first time we got a bonus, we just about laid an egg. And 5 years later, we actually used our Neolife points from using our credit card to pay for a trip from the Voyager points or a trip overseas. And so the excitement that we can do this again is absolutely, if you do it once, you can do it again. So it's 30 seconds to 1 minute, your struggle, your solution, your success, and your excitement. And where would you like to be this time in a year? To ask the person. Now, it's very, very important to speak about money. And for some of us, and for me, especially over the years, it's been a very, very big challenge to actually speak to people about money. We have many cultural and other reasons for why we don't talk to people about money. It's a very sensitive area for all of us. But we are here in the business and we're offering people a chance to make more money. And we tell them then that we don't ask them about their personal money situation. None of your business, my business, anybody's business. We talk about how you can make the money to make it more. This is the point where you bring in the 3 and 30 incentive, which certainly in South Africa we have at the moment. If any of our friends from far away are watching, they must have a look to see what's going on in their region for the incentives that are available. So you're looking for a business builder. Your chances of finding a business builder get better and better the more people you talk to. It's a numbers game, so you're going to have to speak to a lot of people to find your business builders. But then from there, he went on to this wonderful power of one. I just love it. It always inspires me, this. He wrote 1 on the board, and then +1 makes 2. Then he put a 2 + 2 makes 4. 4 + 4 makes 8. 8 + 8 makes 16. 16 + 16 is 32. And 32 + 32 is 64. Now, when you get to that 64, then you tell the person that they are now, Rob, you've taken something away. You now have, that person is definitely now a director. And as a director, with a 6,000 points, they'll be earning 20,000 Rand plus. So there's an indication. And as you go through those, the compounding effect, you can fill in that the 5% comes in at the 800, 1,600. So you would add 2 notes on, 2 + 2, 1 + 1 is 200, 1 two people doing 100 points, 4 people doing 400 points, always on the 400, and add it up to become, putting 2 noughts after your numbers. So it becomes to 6,400 points, and how the bonuses go up as you go along. Okay, and then there was a 4th P, which I should have added in as a from a 3 to a 4, but it makes no difference. So we've gone, I always think of it as 3, but I apologize, it is 4. It's purpose or goal, product, people, and the 4th one is personal development. And I think that the thing, as I indicated to you in Rob's and my story, was the change of attitude, that it had such an impact on our family. So develop an attitude of action to speed up success, speak to more people, learn to manage your emotions, and become more resilient. The only key indicator to gauge a person's success, I didn't know this, is resilience. The only key indicator to gauge a person's success would be resilience. And I would bring in here the story about Colonel Sanders and the KFC brand. His resilience, his determination not to quit. Eventually, after how many months of showing that chicken recipe to people, eventually got the business going. And that is the key of many of all these people, including all our diamond directors, every single one of them. It's resilience to ride the wave up and down. Think big, and they quoted that beautiful verse from Jeremiah about how the Lord has a plan for all of us to have success. And your success will help thousands of people, and failure helps no one. Believe it and receive it. And he spoke about brought in a little bit of Christian wisdom about how God blesses the work of your hands and makes your life I'm trying to read my own writing. Make your life become an excuse-free zone. No excuses. And then he spoke a little bit about the excuses that we have to develop the resilience to overcome. No one has time. Get over it. Figure it out. Build your business for the important things. And he said, then for people who are visiting and people who might be listening to this for the first time, if you do the work, you will have the success. Most people don't make a decision. For things to change, you have to change. You need to get tough. And he spoke about the week before, he had been in Kenya, and in a little village somewhere in the middle of nowhere, did their presentation, and the people who were there said, please wait. They waited 2 hours, and the people who were at the meeting came back. They had gone out and they had sold things and borrowed money, and they all came back. I don't know how many of them, but it sounded like it must have been 5 or 6 of them with enough money to join. And on that afternoon, they joined. So if you don't have money, it's your first challenge. Believe it, you can do it. And he ended off by saying that Johannesburg is an area where the company has great hopes for great growth. So it wasn't 3 Ps, it was 4 Ps. I'll just go again. Okay. Make sure you've got a purpose, have a goal that makes you excited. Be a great product user. 3, talk to people and tell stories. And then the 4th one is personal development. Hello, Florent. Bonjour. Comment ça
Hi,
va?
ça va bien.
Welcome. So just to go through it again, the 4 Ps are, what is your goal? What do you want? Why do you want to do this? Number 2, you have to become a great product user. The 3rd one is talk to people and tell your story. And the fourth one is personal development. Develop an attitude of action. So I'm going to, don't go away, anyone. We're just going to end the recording there. Thank you very much.